modern Canadian living enthusiasts. Welcome to another one of our videos. Today we find ourselves on a part of our property. We're in the forest and we're preparing for next year. It's never too early to get a jump start on next year's projects, especially in winter when you're looking for something to do. This is a great outdoor activity. So if you're wondering what we're going to be doing here, well, two things. This clearing in the middle of our forest has plans for hammocks right over here to my right, where the black pallets are sitting over here to my left. We're going to be building our maple syrup setup. So we'll have a little roof set up. We'll have our fireplace, our boiler, everything over here. And then far back to my right, where the blue pallets are over there, we plan to put a she shed. So half screened in porch, half little mini cabin type thing where we can just come, have a little fire out here and enjoy part of our property. So like I was saying, today's mission is to get a jump start on that for next year. So we're going to start by clearing out some of the brush. So come along as we start the work and see how this turns out.
So while the work is being done, I guess this is a good opportunity to tell you all why we decided to do this. So after buying the property and experiencing our first year, we did tap some trees. We collected some of the sap and we boiled it down in what can only be described as the most jerry-rigged setup I've ever seen. We used our burn barrel. We put a couple of steel rods across the top. We used some of our big kitchen pots, collected the sap with the containers that we had, and just boiled several weekends. It was an interesting experience, definitely an interesting experience, but we had so much fun. We had the little ones over, the nephews, the niece, family, friends. Everybody enjoyed it so much. People love the maple syrup. We all love it too. I mean, after all, we're Canadian, right? It's part of our DNA, so we just roll with it. But after all that enjoyment and thinking about it over the summer, we had decided that we wanted to expand and take our maple syrup production to the next level. And when I say production, we're not selling or looking to do that in any way, shape, or form. The maple syrup that we make here from our forest is simply for us. It's for family, friends, and just to enjoy a little one of those sweet treats from nature. So we decided to take it to the next level, like I was saying. And that's when we started looking on the property, where could we do this? And we settled upon the clearing in the middle of the forest here. With it already being an opening and it pretty much being in the middle where the three main paths connect, we decided that this would be a good place to build our structure. And that's what led us to this video. So we find ourselves here clearing everything up, removing the brush, getting it all set up so that we can put the pallets down, have our new burn barrel brought over, and just start a process a little differently. We are using a barrel this time, but it was one that was purposely converted to evaporate sap and boil down to syrup. So we're going to try this out, see how it goes, and we're hoping that it'll do us a few years before, well, to be honest, knowing us, we're probably going to step it up to the next level. It's just something that we do here at Modern Canadian Living. We try it out. If we enjoy it, we take it as far as we can go. Not all the time, but most of the time with most things that we do. And the maple syrup journey is probably not going to be any different. So as you can see, we got it pretty much all cleared out. We removed all the big logs, any big branches, cut down all the small brush, and just started getting it ready for the ATV to come in and see how it does with the blade to flatten it out and remove any of the remaining little frozen logs and bits so it can all be cleared and ready to go.
So with a little effort, the right bit of tools, and a good partner to help you, anything can get done. We've got it basically cleared out right now of the bigger stuff. We'll be able to come in here with the 4x4 and the blade, flatten out what we can to, and it'll be pretty much ready for spring until we're ready to start building. Next, we're going to move on to that side and start clearing out over there so we can do the same thing that we just did here.
But before we get to that side, we need to clear up the mess we made by taking all these branches, bringing them back behind the area that we just cleaned up and opened. Let them decompose and break down in the woods. But a lot of this will also be used as fire starter for the evaporation process for when we boil the sap. So for now, we're just going to take it and put it in the back, get it out of our way so that we can get ready for the next part. So decided to take a shot with the 4x4 and the blade, see how it was going to do at clearing. You can see it had no troubles whatsoever. It even managed to get some of the frozen bigger logs that were down in the mud out and was able to push them to the back. So it just goes to show that you don't have to go spend millions of dollars and have all sorts of new fancy equipment. Sometimes just a little effort, some elbow grease, and using the tools at hand are all you need to get the job done. So once the area was clear, next had to sort through the piles of skids that we had. We've been collecting these for a little while. We have a few different types and we do plan on using them for many different things. In fact, there's probably about 15 or so already in the forest, acting as one of our paths through a swampy area. And I gotta say, other than having to make them a little less slippery with the grinder and just putting some grooves in it, they work out great. So when you're looking to do different projects on your property, think about some things. Think about how you can reuse, recycle, and just make it a little less expensive, but also just as good as what it could be. So for us, we're separating these out. You can see I'm currently doing that right here. We'll be using some of these for the project that we are doing in this video, while the others will be taken to different parts of the forest and used for little paths or bridges to get over little areas that could be a little bit mushy in the spring, or there are a couple of spots in the back that do not dry out until the middle of summer, and even then only for a little while. So we'll be using these as an elevated walkway through there until we can build something a little bit more permanent. But once I got these sorted out, I just decided to go move a couple of extra pieces of lumber that were on the ground that I found, move them out of the way, and then I started to bring them over so that we could get the skids all in position. Next up, needed to drag all the skids over one by one, lay them down and kind of tamp them down a bit just to make sure that they weren't going to move. The goal here was to give us an area to be able to walk on despite the conditions in the spring. Also keep the wood and the evaporator fireplace up out of the snow, out of the ground. Make sure that it can last as long as possible. This is the temporary solution and setup. We are going to be adding in a roof over this structure. We're going to be using the lumber from the forest with a couple of the bigger trees that have fallen down, use them for our posts to make our roof and provide that extra layer of shelter and protection for our syrup evaporation station. Pretty cool to say that Modern Canadian Living Farms is going to have a maple syrup evaporation station. And there you go. Got the little pathway laid out to it. And now we're ready for the next part.
And there you have it. Not too bad. Wasn't sure how the ATV and the blade was going to do, but I gotta say, all in all, it did a great job. We managed to get it all flattened out and leveled, pushed aside anything that was in the way, some frozen logs and stuff. And for this time of year with cold frozen ground, gotta say, it's pretty good. We've got all the pallets, all the plastic skids are installed. They're secure. Comes the spring, they'll settle down a bit. But our next steps to get this ready are going to be to attach all of these one to the other, make sure that they're secured in place. We will then be concentrating on the middle part here, This is where we're going to put some patio stones down along with some cinder blocks so that we can put our fireplace on top of it, our boiler and evaporator pans, to raise it up and insulate it from the plastic, but also make it easier on us as we're, evaporating all the sap. We want to put the wood around us all here, get all our logs ready so that we can start in, well, just a few weeks' time. It's hard to believe that we're already halfway through January, and in just several weeks, we will be getting into maple syrup season. So if you want to see how the rest of this project turns out, what else we get up to here on the Modern Canadian Living Farm, and just how the rest of the journey unfolds, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on those YouTube notifications, follow us on Facebook. There's so much left to see and do, and, well, we don't want you to miss any of it. It wouldn't be that much fun, right? So come back. Come take a look with us. Until next time, take care.